One person is hurt tonight after a house exploded near 4th Avenue and Lincoln Street.
Denver Fire says there was no fire at the scene when they arrived. The gas is now turned off, although fire investigators are not yet officially saying that was the cause of the explosion. This happened just after 6 today when a lot of people were either coming home to that neighborhood from work or they were eating dinner at restaurants nearby.
Jennifer Meckles is there tonight. Jenny caught up with some of those neighbors a bit earlier. What did they have to say?
All of them bewildered, Alex. I mean, imagine if you're walking by or you're in the area and you feel this, more so feeling it than even seeing it. This is the house that we're talking about behind me, or the building back there. You can kind of see it's a little bit down the block, but this whole area is blocked off tonight. This is a fourplex building. And as of tonight, there were still crews on scene working, far fewer than earlier, but certainly still quite a presence here tonight. Firefighters said they got this call about 6 o'clock tonight. Kyle points out that is a busy time of day. You've got people home, you've got people out and about walking dogs, you've got all these businesses right behind here on Broadway. Firefighters said several people and pets were in this fourplex at the time of the explosion. We do not know how many, but they said all people are accounted for. One person went to the hospital with minor injuries. Everybody else got out okay. Firefighters said one dog was killed in this explosion, and they rescued another one from the rubble. And people who were in the area, whether again they saw it, it was really more of a description of feeling this than anything else.
Sitting at the Blue Bonnet eating dinner, and all of a sudden this huge explosion. We felt it in our chests, the ground vibrated, and we went to the window and saw this huge cloud of dust.
It was more than hearing it. I mean, you literally felt it in your body, and everyone just kind of stopped and turned, looked to the street, and as everything got very quiet, and then you could see the debris rising up over the building. And then the emergency vehicles succession started, one after another after another.
When we arrived on scene, we didn't have any active fire. We were obviously prepared. We've got hoses laid out across the street. We're trying to figure out if there's anything else. Obviously, we don't want to make the situation worse. So the crews up top are getting an aerial view. I do believe we have our drone team that's coming out to also help us, that has some infrared technology and stuff that can help us get better eyes.
So, of course, the question is what caused this today? A lot of speculation, guys, that there was some kind of a gas leak, but firefighters were very quick to say, we don't know yet. We're trying to figure that out. We don't know. But yes, the gas has been turned off on this property. That happened, maybe about an hour or so ago. And this building, so that building back there, obviously destroyed. But then the one right next to it where you see the crews in front of right now, they told us that one is impacted as well right now. It doesn't appear to have any damage, but just between the danger and the gas getting turned off and a lot of power turned off in the area tonight, the folks that live there also can't be home. In fact, we met a couple that was just trying to get their animals out so they could take them with them for the night so they weren't sitting in there by themselves. A lot of that happening tonight on this block.
You can understand, just a lot of cleanup and scary moments there. That damage is quite a scene. Jenny, thanks for the update.
A year after Colorado's prosecutors could start charging drug dealers with more serious crimes, we've seen the first person to be charged under Colorado's fentanyl law reaching a plea deal. Today, Andrea Bronco pleaded guilty to distribution of fentanyl resulting in death. Kara Gorman died of an overdose at her apartment in Fort Collins back in September. Police found a text message she'd sent before she died asking for Blues fentanyl pills. Kara's boyfriend found her body. Last year, we spoke with a friend of hers, Katie, who said that they met in rehab. Katie stayed sober. Kara didn't.
We actually had a conversation one night where I was like, I'm terrified you're going to die. Like, every time I leave, or every time I see you using, I'm scared that the next time I see you, it'll be in a body bag. And it eventually happened.
Investigators found Bronco through Kara's texts. Prosecutors charged Bronco with felony distribution resulting in death and drug possession. Court records show today she pleaded guilty to the first charge. Second was dismissed. She'll be sentenced in October, could spend 8 to 32 years in prison.
The DA investigating a deadly shooting by Summit County law enforcement says the teen they killed was carrying a BB gun, but the DA says it still counts as a handgun. The shooting happened nearly a month ago near Keystone. Investigators say 18-year-old Charlie Foster was walking around a neighborhood with what looked like a gun. The sheriff's office mental health team had been trying to help him for weeks. A Summit County deputy and a Dillon police officer found Foster in the neighborhood. At the time, the sheriff's office told us Foster pointed a gun at them, so they shot and killed him. Today, the DA in Summit County told us Foster was actually handling a BB gun, a replica of a pistol. The DA pointed to past cases in Colorado where BB guns were still considered deadly weapons. So far, everything we know about this shooting comes from law enforcement. We're trying to get the video from officers' body cameras to see how it all unfolded. Law enforcement won't share it until their investigation is over. Well, when at first you don't succeed, start rolling school bus blackouts and try again. The school board in one of the metro area's most conservative counties is again asking voters to raise their own taxes.
Douglas County Schools has been the epicenter of a lot of political infighting and controversy over the years, but the school board is united in asking for more funding. Here's 9 News reporter Cole Sullivan.
The excitement of a new school year
Everything's new, yeah.
comes with the same challenges in Douglas County, only this year they're worse.
Yeah, I would say last year it was urgent, and this year we're at critical.
Superintendent Erin Kane says she keeps losing her people.
We walked into this school year down 104 bus drivers, which is crazy. That's more than half of our entire driving force.
The district is rotating school bus coverage to make it up. Nearly half of new teacher candidates are declining offers because Kane says she cannot pay them as much as other districts.
And when someone right across the way offers you $19,000 more a year, it's really hard to turn that away.
Voters will now decide whether to help. The school board is asking them to raise their own taxes to increase pay and to help build new schools in a district that's growing fast and losing teachers.
If we want to be able to continue that level of excellence, we have to hold on to the educators that are delivering that level of excellence to our students.
She says if the measures pass, a person with a $1 million home would pay about $200 more in taxes per year, for example. Voters already said no to a similar measure last year.
Do you see this as a challenge to get this across the finish line?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it's a challenge. At the end of the day, it's really going to be up to the taxpayers to decide on the things that matter to their community. This is our community, and we just need to figure it out together.
So one of the challenges is that this proposal to increase taxes comes the same year property assessments are going up for so many folks, which could dissuade some voters. But the superintendent says this can't wait, and teachers and staff in her district are also seeing increased property assessments as well.
Yeah, I mean, makes it all the more critical, Cole, that they could have, should have passed it last year because there's going to be so much focus on tax bills this year with everybody's valuations going up.
So much focus on this year, and last year it narrowly failed by less than a percentage point. The district is hoping and needing it to turn around.
It was closer than their polling indicated last time.
Much closer.
Cole, thank you.
The devastation in Maui is unthinkable. 53 people dead in one of our country's deadliest wildfires in a century. And first responders aren't done searching the destruction. The fires burned down more than 1,000 buildings, and they are still smoldering tonight. The historic town of Lahaina and its centuries-old landmarks, they're completely gone. Survivors in shelters say they barely made it out, escaping through smoke and flames. Some watch their community burn from boats. Families are trying to track down missing loved ones, which is tough with cell service and power still down. Leaders in Honolulu are prepping a convention center to shelter thousands of people flown off the island.
Danielle, just an absolute disaster there in Hawaii. And as we well know, changing climate doesn't cause those fires, but it creates conditions in which they can spread faster and more intensely. We've seen it here in Colorado, and just an unprecedented type of fire there in Hawaii.
Absolutely. It's those extreme winds and the drought conditions that they had, 50, 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts. We saw it with the Marshall Fire here in Colorado, but man, that video is just heartbreaking. Such a gorgeous, gorgeous area of our country. Tonight here in Colorado, we're just tracking a few clouds, especially across the Front Range for us this evening. We do have a couple of little isolated storms out there. They're mainly up into the high country, but this is kind of the view that we're looking at downtown Denver and beyond. Yes, a quiet, dry evening for many of us here in the metro area after a brief thunderstorm passed through earlier tonight. It really didn't do much, just a couple of light little rain showers out there, and that really was about it. As we look at the radar tonight, you can kind of see most of the action has been positioned up into the high country areas, right there around I-70, heading out toward Glenwood Springs, a little light rain, and then here for the metro area, just the cloud cover. Temperatures have cooled off, but not by much, still in the low 70s. Pretty nice out there. Toasty at 86 in Pueblo, with 50s and 60s primarily up in the mountains, mid 70s going out into Grand Junction. Upper 80s on deck for us tomorrow. You'll notice by the afternoon, we'll certainly watch the clouds racing in, and I can't rule out potentially seeing one or two isolated storms, very similar to tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, the gusty winds that roll through, and then the possibility of a couple of light little sprinkles. Here come the 90s, and then I am tracking a cold front for the weekend. More details on that in just a few.
All right, thank you, Danielle. Police in Aurora say somebody shot a teenage boy this morning. He's in the hospital tonight. Police say the shooting happened around 10 in the morning on South Emporia Way, just east of Kennedy Golf Course. Police are not offering much about what led up to the shooting. They took that teenager to the hospital. They're not saying how badly he's hurt, and no info has been offered about the shooter.
Deputies in Boulder County are worried there are more victims after they arrested a man accused of posing as a search and rescue worker and sexually assaulting a woman on a trail. William Tidwell from North Glen is in jail tonight on investigation of unlawful sexual conduct and assault. Deputies say a woman told them she was hiking outside of Netherland when Tidwell offered her a ride. He took her to another trail where she says he sexually assaulted her. She got away, called for help. The sheriff's office says the woman thought Tidwell was part of a search and rescue group because he was wearing a uniform type shirt and was driving what looked like an official truck. Police in Idaho Springs arrested him on Monday. Deputies are worried Tidwell may have done the same thing to other people. So they're asking anybody with any information about this case to call the number there on your screen.